Hi guys, so following the fallout after P&O laid off about 800 staff, Boris Johnson's government and Grant Shapps, the Transport Secretary in particular, have been left scrambling to find a way to appear tough and look as if they're putting the rights of workers front and centre. Now it appears that Shapps visited Dubai last October, where he met with the head of DP World, the parent company of P&O Ferries. Notes from that meeting claim that Shapps was informed about structural changes taking place at P&O in the future, but there doesn't seem to be any more detail. There is now an attempt to fix this problem, and Grant Shapps appeared on Sky News on Friday to talk tough. But do you believe him?
Let's talk about matters closer to home. You've got the chief executive of a major company who has sacked 800 workers via video call, admitting that they knowingly broke the law and that they would do it again. As the Transport Secretary, what is it that you're going to do about it?
Well, first of all, I thought what the boss of P&O said yesterday about knowingly breaking the law was brazen and breathtaking, showed incredible arrogance, and I cannot believe that he can stay in that role, having admitted to deliberately go out and use a loophole, break the law, but also use a loophole. And that's the thing. What they did was they flagged their ships through Cyprus, avoided having to tell anybody about.
They did this back in 2018. This is not new information. It's not something we discovered this week. They did this because of Brexit. They did it back in 2018.
About this, or they felt they did, and even though they know they've broken the law, what they've done is to pay people off in such a way to try and buy their silence. It's unacceptable. So what I'm going to do about it is come to Parliament this coming week with a package of measures which will both close every possible loophole that exists and.
Why are you only closing the loopholes now? Why do these loopholes exist in the first place? I don't believe for a moment that he is actually going to do this, but if you're aware of a loophole, why hasn't it been closed before?
Force them to U-turn on this. We are not having people working every possible loophole that exists and force them to U-turn on this. We are.
Now this is very important. He said here, force them to U-turn on this. So I presume he's talking about the government is going to force P&O to rehire the staff that they have laid off. I can't think of anything else, any other interpretation here. He's telling the public here that his government is going to force P&O to U-turn, to rehire the staff that they laid off. And this legislation is coming through next week.
I'm not having people working from British ports on applying regular routes between here and France or here in Holland or where else, and failing to pay the minimum wage. It's simply unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. Now, the problem with this is whether you believe him or not, because yes, this is some years ago. This was 2013. Grant Shapps said, "We need to make it easier for firms to sack workers," claims Conservative Chairman Grant Shapps. Goes on to say, "There should be a way of saying to people, thank you very much, it hasn't worked out, but here's a decent package for you to move on from this role," says top Tory. Now, maybe he has changed his mind since 2013. I think, if he has, that's good. I hope he would say the Grant Shapps of 2013 is different to the Grant Shapps of 2022. I don't believe this anymore. I think workers should be protected. Companies should not be able to fire their workers on a whim. But once again, I come back to the point. Grant Shapps is making a promise here that next week he's going to push through legislation that's going to close loopholes that should have been closed before, but okay, he's going to close these loopholes and he's going to force the company to U-turn. If he does that, and I'm being honest here, if he does that, I will commend him for it. But I'm afraid he won't. But if I'm wrong, I will hold up my hands and I will commend him for forcing the company to rehire the staff that have been sacked. But let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think he's going to do. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.